How do we know when we're considering a triple in theory versus in practice?
This is actually an excellent question. One example that came to mind when I was thinking about this, or rather how to answer it, was to consider the 6 types of questions. If you look at them, there's actually 2 natural groupings. There's the sort of group of questions that are, or question types that are abstract. These would be questions of what and why and how. And then there are questions which are in their types more in reference to some embodiment, who, when, and where. And so, in this sense, we could think of the who, when, and where as being kind of practical questions like who's going to do what, when, and where. Um, the what part of it essentially is now popping back up into the theory thing in the sense that we're saying something about the nature of some abstraction. Like if I say I'm going to the store, there's obviously a difference between the pointer, i.e., the words going to the store, and the physical action of actually walking to the place at a time and in some physical context. And of course, there's the agent who's actually implementing that walking. So in this sense, we can look at this as a sort of exemplar of the kinds of ways in which theory and practice interact with one another in the same sort of way that we can consider the way that these types of questions, the 6 abstract types, who, when, and where, and the 6 effectively concrete types of, I'm sorry, I said that wrong, I think, what, why, and how, and then the concrete types of who, when, and where. I'm hoping that comes out clearly. In any case, the notion here is that in general, when we're looking at something that involves actual embodied practice, like the triple themselves essentially are connected directly to the nature of being, then effectively we're looking at that as a kind of embodied triple, i.e., something for which axiom 2 would be the best descriptor. If, on the other hand, it's noticed that the concepts are essentially being regarded from essentially an external point of view and are describing some sort of abstraction, then you'll probably notice that axiom 1 ends up being the better descriptor. So in this sense, you can kind of treat it as, okay, having shown a triple to be compatible with axiom 3, does it seem to be the case that axiom 1 is a better description of the relationship between that triple, or does it seem to be the case that axiom 2 is a better descriptor of the relationships between those triples, the concepts of that triple? And in this sense, this gives a very strong indicator of whether or not the triple is being treated in a more practical way or a more theoretical way, axiom 2 being more practical and axiom 3 being more theoretical. Obviously, to be a triple, on the other hand, you need to show that even the weaker description is itself still applicable.